Hallo und willkommen zu Lonestar. Wir spielen Agathe Christie, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. Ja, wir haben mit einigen Leuten gesprochen. Ein paar haben wir aber noch. Schauen wir mal Cassandra rein. Cassandra is absent. Archibald stated she is grieving in her room. It would not be proper to intrude. Hugo. Hugo wanted to confront the major, longing to confront a man who has recently ended up dead. This cannot be ignored. Jackie. Mit der ist auch irgendwas faul. Jackie wants information from Hugo. She seems somewhat desperate to chase up information that Hugo holds. I wonder what it is so important. Dann Gideon.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
With the joining of your two families and the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
I spoke with your brother earlier. He was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
Kann aber auch nur so getan haben.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
Aha. I do not know how he could not have noticed the state of his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe. How is your relationship with your brother?
We aren't the closest. But what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
There is clearly more to uncover here. I shall return to the matter when I have the fuel that is required to get the answers. I'd like to ask you about your work with the Union.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
It appears Monsieur's letter was at least written with noble intentions, but he is still hesitant to talk more on the Major's association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Ja, der ist ja wirklich sehr anständig. Hilft seiner Frau, der Familie hier, dem Van den Bosch. Und unterstützt hier die Arbeiter. So, was haben wir denn alles? Gideon and Zach quarrel. They are very different people. The Major didn't approve of the marriage. This was clearly shown in the altercation that occurred in the hall. Gideon wrote the letter. I have confirmed it was Gideon that penned the letter to the Major, warning him off. Gideon denies his brother's drinking. It is clearly as day. Why is Gideon denying this? Gideon, hesitant to mention past with the Major. There is still something regarding the Major that he is withholding. Does Gideon have something to hide? Talk to Zack. Wir reden aber erstmal mit Margot.
I am all yours, Detective.
Did you ever speak to the Major about how he treated Madame van den Bosch?
Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Countess.
Wise thinking, Detective.
I'm sure you have noticed Madame van den Bosch's absence.
I imagine she will have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him.
I don't know who has the sharper tongue, Madame van den Bosch or the Comtesse. It is certainly a close race for the first place. What of Madame van den Bosch and Monsieur de Silva's relationship?
What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, Detective, I am not one to gossip.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth.
I'm not sure what is exactly correct, but the Comtesse has made a bold attempt to justify her wagging tongue.
Why else do you think he would stay around for so long? Yes, he was a friend and partner to the Viscount, but it is plain to see it is Cassandra's partnership he longs for.
You have explained that the Major was trying to remain close to the family, but not why.
He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
Crétin, sind das die Dinger, die man in die Suppe tut? In so diese kleinen Stückchen? Oder sind es die, die man abends nicht füttern darf, weil sie sonst zu anderen Viechern werden?
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
The Comtesse has certainly opened my eyes to the Major's true ambitions with the Van den Bosch family. I wonder if Madame herself is aware of his greed and hunger for social recognition.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Dann schauen wir mal, was haben wir hier bekommen? Cassandra more than a friend to Ernesto. Margot confirmed that Ernesto has always had feelings for Cassandra. Do others know of Ernesto's love? Major leached on to Cassandra. Quite a statement. There is certainly an animosity between Margot and the Major. Issues between the Major and Cassandra. She is hinting at issues regarding the Major and Cassandra's relationship. Talk to Jackie to advance the investigation. Habe ich Animosity gehabt? Ja, gut. Jackie.
You came to the right place. What do you need?
What did you know of the victim?
I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
Mademoiselle Conrad is wise to the nature of this question. She knows exactly what and what not to say. This nut may be harder to crack than first expected. You were previously speaking with him. I assume you know Monsieur Beckers as well then?
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
A man suppressing his anger in a murdered body. The most amateur detective could see a connection. You seem to know a great deal about everyone. What can you tell me about Monsieur de Silva and Madame van der Bosch?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
What are your thoughts on the Comtesse? I appreciate your opinion on her.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
Aha.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
I can only see the work at the woman's shelter as positive. Even if the reason to start came from a selfish place, the work they do cannot be scoffed at.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Ja, es füllt sich. Ah, jetzt haben wir gar nicht aufgepasst. Cassandra. Und wir haben hier Ernesto und Cassandras friendship. Jackie seems fairly sure that Ernesto's feelings are one of friendship. Vielleicht passt das hier zu more than
Some
friendship.
would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Perhaps Ernesto had hidden his secret love well. We can use this to our advantage. Talk to Ernesto. Jackie doesn't trust the Major. Not trusting the Major shows signs of past conflict. There must be more to this. Jackie claims Margot is hiding something. Talk to Margot. Jackie's opinion of Margot is not that much better than of the Major's. What is it that Margot is hiding? Hugo's frustration. According to Jackie, Hugo was still mad at the Major in our absence. Das beißt sich mit dem.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Hugo claims to have calmed down since his argument with the Major, but Jackie disputed this. Hugo lied about his temper. Hugo claims to have calmed down. Ah ja, okay. He lied. Wenn wir schon hier stehen, reden wir nochmal mit
I am all
ihr.
yours, Detektiv.
Da warten wir noch.
Merci, Comtesse.
Ernesto.
More questions? I suppose so.
Apologies for the insistent questions on the subject, but you and Madame van den Bosch...
Mademoiselle Conrad was quick to talk of your hidden feelings towards her, perhaps only hidden to Madame van den Bosch herself.
What has this got to do with the Major's death? Does Cassandra know you have spoken to others about this? I have only tried to help her.
So, was sagen wir denn da? I'm merely asking the question, there's no reason to panic. Ach, so richtig Panic klingt ja nicht. I'm not accusing you of anything, but if you continue to avoid the question, I may think there is in fact something you are hiding.
There may be some feelings there, but Madame van den Bosch does not know of them, and I trust that it will remain that way.
Merci for your cooperation.
Er hat das also bestätigt. Ernesto cares for Cassandra. Ernesto cares deeply for Cassandra. Und gleich mit Capital F. Perhaps his anger has peaked. How deep does Ernesto's love go? I wonder. Ach, Hugo, der hat wohl nix. Aber Zack.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
What do you know of your brother's work with the Union?
If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union, why don't you ask him?
So, you are aware of his support for them?
Yes, well,
Oui, monsieur?
it'd be best to just ask him.
Ah, da haben wir ihn auf den falschen Fuß erwischt, ne? Monsieur either does not know much of what his brother does, or he is protecting him rather coyly. Your relationship with your brother. It seems everyone has an opinion.
That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on your relationship.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now.
Monsieur has again mentioned his time in the war. While I could not mean to belittle his efforts for his country, it seems as though he has not been able to leave that life behind on the battlefield.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Zack resents Gideon. It feels as though he has held onto his resentment for a long time. Zack is defensive of Gideon. Also, they aren't close. Zack is willing to withhold details about his brother's dealings. Why does this surprise me? Talk to Gideon. Dann haben wir Gideons Quarrel und Resentment.
Come, my little grey cells.
Oh. Ja, aber das einzige Neue war doch jetzt hier diese 2 Punkte hier. Oder habe ich noch was verpasst? Ja, hier soll es jetzt eine Verbindung geben, die ich gerade noch nicht sehe. Ich hätte gedacht, das passt zusammen. Lassen wir erstmal.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
Oder I'd like to talk more about your brother.
I believe there are more important matters at hand than talking about my brother and I's relationship, or lack thereof.
The murderer is in his house, and by holding back information that may help my investigation, you only make me suspicious of your involvement. Monsieur Demire, if you continue to withhold information, I can only assume you are hiding something, and must treat you as a prime suspect in the Major's murder.
I have nothing to hide. If you must know, we have not been on the best terms for years now. As I said, we are different people. He does not see the importance of planning for the future, and as much as my parents tried, they could not make him see that. I suppose that is why he sees me as their favorite.
He still believes that now?
I assume so. We barely talk anymore. I was hoping we would be able to sit down and talk and leave the past behind.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Zack fühlt sich also vernachlässigt. Gideon feels detached from Zack. Clearly they haven't been close for some time. Is this feeling mutual? I wonder.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
The brothers are suspicious, individually, but I cannot see them working together. Brothers are unlikely to cooperate. Was haben wir jetzt hier noch? Vielleicht gehören die zusammen. Hugo has that.
I must take a different approach if I am to...
Nee, passt nicht, obwohl das beides mal das gleiche Thema ist. Ja, dann ist es vielleicht der Widerspruch zwischen, dass er auf der einen Seite Gideon hier resents, auf der anderen Seite defends.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
He claims not to be close to his brother, but still sees to withhold information about him. Zack's conflicting attitude. Ah ja, okay. Nein. Nein, auch nicht. Jetzt müssen wir doch nochmal nachschauen. Mit wem sollten wir reden? Margot.
I am all yours, Detektiv.
Push on the Major's aggression towards Cassandra.
Countess, you gave me the impression the Major and the Madame were close. But there were times where he acted rather aggressively to her, n'est-ce pas?
I am sorry, Detective, but I did not mean to give you such an impression.
I have already built a rapport with the Comtesse. Some even may say it is flirtatious manner. Perhaps if I continue to charm her, she will reveal the information I require. Also nicht humble, sondern flattering. It is obviously I who am mistaken. A fine woman of your stature would not purposely lead a young man astray.
Ever the charmer, Detective. I would talk more on it, but I'm afraid Cassandra would think I am talking about her behind her back.
The Comtesse has something more to say, but she still holds back. Something tells me it is more to do with receiving attention. Perhaps I can use it to my advantage. Cautionary. Oder... You obviously care a great deal about Madame van den Bosch. Assisting me will help clear her of any wrongdoing. That is what you want for her, isn't it?
is not often I am swayed so easily. I applaud you on your willingness and persistence. From day one, I was wary of his intentions. And it was not long before he showed his true colors. If it is a tear she sheds, it should be one of joy that he is out of her life.
I understand your feelings towards the Major, but perhaps there was...
He was a bully. He took his shortcomings out on her, and she sat there and accepted it. I never thought I would see the day. Perhaps now she will be able to see the man he truly was. Karma will always catch up to you.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
I had my own opinion about the Major, one that is wiser kept to myself, but I did not expect so many like-minded thinkers. I should think further on what I have heard in my quarters. Sollen mit Arch reden, damit es weitergeht. Ja, da steht er auch schon. Ich würde aber sagen, bevor wir mit ihm reden, machen wir diese Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.